Right now, an invisible war is being fought in your local grocery store, and you are unknowingly funding it. Every time you reach for an avocado, you aren't just buying a superfood, you are touching the most sophisticated financial masterpiece ever designed by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. At this very second, billions of dollars are flowing through a legal fruit empire so perfectly engineered that even the U.S. government cannot find the kill switch. This isn't a story about farmers or trade. It is about one man, the architect, the ghost who turned a blood-soaked insurgency into a boardroom-certified monopoly. If you think you know how cartels work, you are wrong. The blueprint for green gold is far more dangerous than any drug route ever discovered. The volcanic soil of Michoacán is currently the site of a hostile corporate takeover where the currency is blood and the product is pebbled green skin. While the world was distracted by the war on drugs, the CJNG stopped chasing suitcases of cash and started chasing export manifests. They realized that cocaine attracts the DEA, but avocados attract investors. The architect stepped into this chaos with a terrifying realization. You do not need to hide your money if you can make the entire industry look legitimate. He didn't build a smuggling route, he built a shadow state that operates inside the global supply chain, hiding in plain sight behind the very regulations meant to stop him.
The genius of this man lies in the phytosanitary certificate, a boring piece of paper required for every single piece of fruit entering the United States. To the architect, it is a license to steal. He pioneered a system of land laundering that would baffle the world's best forensic accountants. By using a network of terrified notaries and forged colonial land deeds, he didn't just seize farms, he legally re-registered them under clean shell companies. These farms have legitimate tax IDs, payrolls, and official government stamps. On a computer screen in Washington, D.C., these are model agricultural businesses. In reality, they are the private property of the most dangerous men on earth. This is not just theft, it is vertical integration. In a standard business model, you own the supply chain to save costs. The architect did it to eliminate witnesses. He bought the packing houses where the fruit is weighed, washed, and certified. By owning the bottleneck, he created a wash cycle for illegal fruit. Avocados grown on stolen land or protected national parks are brought to these cartel-owned facilities, mixed with clean batches, and given the official seal of approval. Once that sticker hits the box, the crime is erased. The product is now a legal commodity protected by international trade treaties. The architect turned the bureaucracy of the state into a weapon to bankrupt any independent farmer who refused to submit to the CJNG. But here is the million-dollar question. If the government knows exactly where these packing houses are, why haven't they made a single arrest? The answer lies in a financial web so complex it makes Wall Street look like a lemonade stand. The financial engineering behind this is even more sinister. How do you move $1 billion in profit without triggering a single bank alert? The architect mastered trade-based money laundering. He would have a cartel-controlled distributor in Los Angeles order a shipment of avocados from a cartel-owned farm in Mexico. The farm would invoice the distributor for double the actual value. The extra $1 million, sourced from the cartel's illicit drug trade, is paid out as a legitimate business transaction for fruit. The banks see a standard agricultural wire transfer. The money isn't just clean, it's now a taxable, legal business profit that can be reinvested into luxury real estate or even political campaigns. The stakes reached a breaking point in 2026. Mexico is now producing nearly 3 million metric tons of avocados annually, and the CJNG heartland controls the vast majority of it. The architect monitors global market prices with the cold precision of a hedge fund manager. He learned that he could manipulate the global price of guacamole more effectively than any CEO.
When the cartel wants a price hike, they do not just burn a field, they orchestrate a security strike that halts all trucking. As supply drops and prices soar in Chicago and New York, the CJNG's clean dividends explode. They are no longer just a cartel, they are a market maker. There's a deep irony in the ethical sourcing movement. Consumers demand deforestation-free and fair trade products, yet the architect used these very labels as camouflage. He funded sustainability projects that were actually fronts for further land grabs, backdating land registries to bypass 2026 environmental regulations. He turned the world's conscience into a barrier for his competitors. By the time a fair trade avocado reaches your toast, it has been handled by a logistics network that is more vertically integrated than Amazon and more ruthless than any army.
The mystery of the architect himself is the most chilling part of the story. Unlike the flashy capos of the past who wanted fame and luxury, the architect remains a phantom. Analysts believe he is a high-level technocrat, someone with a background in international maritime law or global logistics. He is the man who proved that a spreadsheet is more effective than a grenade. He represents a new era where the line between CEO and capo has completely dissolved. He didn't just design a business, he designed a shield that makes the CJNG too big to fail. If the government shuts down the avocado trade to hurt the cartel, they collapse the Mexican economy and trigger a trade war with the U.S. This raises a terrifying possibility. Could the world's most dangerous criminal organization actually be the most stable business partner in Latin America? Stick around, because what the architect did next to the local politicians is something you won't find in any news report. The human cost is buried under layers of corporate filings. Farmers who refuse to sign over their legal titles do not just lose their land, they disappear. Local politicians who try to audit the sudden growth of agricultural collectives find their offices raided by security contractors who are actually cartel soldiers in suits. The architect justifies this as bringing order to the region, arguing that a corporate-run cartel is more stable than a warring one. It is a cold, calculated vision of a world where crime is simply a high-overhead business. The structural tension of this empire is the friction between the mask and the reality. To stay legal, the architect must allow international inspectors into his domain. Every time a cartel soldier loses his temper and threatens a USDA official, the architect's billion-dollar tower trembles. We saw this in 2024 and again in early 2026 when shipments were halted due to security concerns. These aren't just diplomatic hiccups, they are glitches in the architect's perfect code. He is constantly at war with the very organization he is trying to legitimize. As you look at an avocado today, you are looking at the ultimate shadow economy success story. It is the perfect crime because it requires your participation. The architect realized that if he could make his product essential to your lifestyle, he would be untouchable. He didn't just build a fruit empire, he built a template for the future of global crime. This blueprint is already being applied to lithium for your phone batteries and timber for your furniture. The world is being rebuilt by architects who know that the best way to break the law is to follow it perfectly. The final evolution of the cartel is no longer about being the biggest gang. It is about being the most reliable supplier. The architect has moved the CJNG from the illegal economy to the invisible economy. They use the same banks as you, the same shipping lanes as major retailers, and the same lawyers as Fortune 500 companies. They have become a ghost in the machine of global capitalism. The emerald gold of Michoacán was just the testing ground. The world is full of industries waiting to be architected by those who see the profit in the shadows. The question is no longer whether your food is organic. It is who designed the system that brought it to your table.
In this new world order, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun, it's a perfectly executed business plan that turns a global craving into a paramilitary war chest. The avocado architect is still out there, refining the blueprint, ensuring that the next time you pay for a superfood, you are paying for the expansion of an empire that officially doesn't exist. Every shipment, every invoice, and every certified stamp is a victory for the man in the glass office. He knows that as long as the world is hungry, he is in control. The Shadow Economy series has shown us many ways to make money, but none are as terrifying as the one that uses your own grocery list against you. The architect didn't just change the game, he bought the stadium and wrote the rules. Now, the only question left is, what industry will he design next? But as the architect's shadow grows over every industry, from mining to tech, it leaves us with one final, haunting thought. In a world where the cartel owns the supply chain, is there anything left in your home that isn't funding a war? Drop a comment below. Would you stop buying avocados if you knew for a fact they were branded by the CJNG?